So the CME is a really good tool that we use. And what we do with the CME is it's not like a road map. It's a destination map. So it gives you an idea of where price is going to go towards. Now, what is interesting for this week is Friday, we closed at around 42,400 and we opened at 41,900. So we've gapped down, but we're in a lateral range. So this is basically the market telling us that there's a lot of uncertainty and people are maybe no longer convinced. Looking at where it's at now, it's not feeling bullish, okay? So it's probably a good time to consider when we do a big sell-off, fill this gap, to buy that bloody gap. Do your hodl bags a favor and subscribe today. Double down, hit that like and notification icon, and let's get charting. Solana, alt-wise, we're running in a scenario where the alts and most of them now has moved into the TPs with a select few that broke through that red line and get it for the idea that there's more upside. But with that being said, if the bigger alts are sitting in a situation where they're grinding sideways and we're getting the same old play now, higher high in price, lower low in the RSI, okay, and price falling back into its previous range. But now on the biggest swing, remember wave to wave, you have the same thing now. You've got higher high in price, lower high in the RSI. Price is still above that pivot. So ultimately, it kind of supports the fact that shit doesn't look bullish, but it actually is bullish. The technicals are telling me that the risk is in the bull's favor. Simply put, you can look at this little line here and just draw it as simple as it is. You don't need to try and hit each and every top. The argument is very simple. Now that you have this line, you can clearly see where the higher highs and higher lows are. There's a high, there's a low, there's a high, there's a low, there's a higher high, there's a, until this closes, 11 hours from now, a lower low, which then tells me if this happens, that we close below this. The bears are going to try and short this. And if they fail, their promises to buy will be in the form of a stop at that point there that can drive price past that red line really quickly. If, however, in 11 hours' time, we hear, if we reclaim this red line to go to my sell zone, then I will be part of the bears. Okay. Now, let's look at those market caps real quick, because ultimately, this is going to give us a really good clue of what to expect going forward. Look at Bitcoin. You can see where Bitcoin is in relation to the lows. It's literally there. Okay, so what happened there? You had, let's mark it out. We had the first little bearish divergence when price really started moving sideways and the first big shakeout event. Thereafter, price fell and we had a massive alt season, and then it led into complacency and ultimately bear market woes. Okay, so when we look at this, for that entire bull cycle year, that was the high and the low of that trading year. And this is smack in the middle as a continuation level. And Bitcoin is trying to get above that. It's fighting hidden bearish divergence. Now, if I take that same picture and I head over to the total, it should look pretty much the same, but it doesn't. The total's down here where Bitcoin is almost level with that point. So it tells us that there's a big disparity between the alts and BTC. So they still need to get some gains in. They're not quite as oversold as BTC. Okay, so how do we see this? If we head over to the total 2, you can see, look at this. What happened to Solana? What happened to all the other alts, guys? They fill this bloody gap. It's as simple as that. It's an imbalance. It needs to go fill that gap. It's about to do that. It's just a little uncertain. It needs that first big buyer to kick the whole thing into gear. Okay. Same for total 3. Let's have a look at the total 3. Needs to go fill that gap. Probably only until we fill this gap. This is just higher probability speaking. It's not a guarantee, guys. Remember, the risk lies with you. The higher probabilities we fill this gap, just like Solana did and all these other coins. Let's just do this. Get to Solana on the weekly is a good example. Fills that gap, sits there, and then the uncertainty sets in. And the late buyers say, well, I'll have some now because I should have bought there. only to see them all get punished. Remember, the market takes the most painful route. Okay? And the most painful route at the moment is to go higher, get more people in, because people are still mindful of the just so recent bear market. That is correct. So let's talk alts real quick. The reality is they're going to be in buys. They're going to look shitty at the moment. So there's not a lot that we can unpack per alt, but I want to highlight a few critical things and I'm going to go through them quickly. Okay. So MutedX, what do we have, guys? We've got a higher high on a pivot. Okay. So it's telling you that there's a lot of momentum. And ultimately, what did I say? When it comes back down to the red line, that's when you buy. That's the continuation. So it's coming back down to the red line. Don't lose sight of this. As the sentiment will change, shit's going to look bearish at that. But remember, when it gets there, okay, what do we have? We've got a higher high, and we will potentially then have a lower low in the RSI. And that, my dear friends, is hidden bullish divergence. It tells you that there's a strong chance for continuation for a higher high. So keep an eye on it. So if you might miss out on this, that's a really good buy zone. Okay, going to head over to Magic real quick. So the argument was that this was supposed to break out over the weekend, get above that blue line, and then we want to see the magic happen and hit this imbalance. It didn't do it. Okay, it fell back below the red line. Thou shall not cross. But now it's heading into another buy zone. Why? This is the bottom of the lateral range it's in. Look at the RSI. Look at the fact that we're making higher highs, higher lows, and the RSI is making lower lows, yet again, giving us hidden bullish divergence. Typically, this is when retail would draw this trend line, and actually price will then try and listen or obey the trend line, is when you have hidden bullish divergence. Case in point, higher low, lower low in the RSI. So now we're doing exactly the same. Higher low, lower low in the RSI. So it's doing exactly the same. The market always rhymes. It never repeats itself, guys, but it always rhymes. You need to spot the rhyme and just go with the momentum. Break out the red line. So Algo did what I hoped Magic, well, Algo had done it already. I thought Magic was going to try and do this. So there's the case point still proven for you guys that this is where Magic needs to go. It just needs a little bit of time, needs to go to that imbalance. Algo, however, guys, if you didn't enjoy this pump, is moving down to this range. Wait for the RSI to go lower. It's telling you then that there's buyers sitting in there and there's stupid people selling the bottom. Okay, that should potentially be at around that red line and grab some algo for you. You're wilder. Let's put the FIB on. Let's put it there and see what happens when the candles open and close below it. Gave you a good exit and now it's going to your golden zone. Look at Wilder, guys. Yes, we didn't want it to fall below the 50 cents. That's your thou shall not cross line. But now it's going into a buy zone. It's creating that uncertainty, that fear that you wanted. Look at this low. Look at this high, higher low. Look at this low. Look at this lower low. It's all there. This is all bullish hunting ground. Okay. Going to head over to Clay real quick. Clay is still above that red line, guys. Ultimately, look at this. This is mid-range buying. So from a Wyckoff point of view, you buy there, and you buy there. And then you sit back and enjoy. It's still on course. OP. Let's look at OP real quick. OP is now in the buy zone. Well, it tapped the buy zone already. Now, what do? Now you wait. OP hit the buy zone. It's above support level. That's what you want to see. The target for OP is $3. Okay. Still see the alts trying to do this for us. Okay. Bonk. Let's quickly go to Bonk. Good example. Closed below the 23.6. Simple. So now Bonk is going to go to these yellow lines. So if you missed out on this meme, basically what you want to do is you want to wait for these levels. Simple. And then grab some. Because if history is a really good measure of how these works, these ones will have an insane bullish community behind them, so they should rally like crazy. Sui fell back in its previous range. So the problem that I have with Sui at the moment is it's not moving anymore. Momentum is gone. So let's look at the RSI and let's see if there's anything else that we need to take note of. Wicks like those tend to keep the momentum intact. Why? Because immediately after the creation, price stayed above it. So where it's in now, it's filling that demand that's there. Also followed by the fact that we've got what? Hidden bullish divergence. So for those that maybe missed out on the SUI train, this is a nice area because there is a clean support range there to acquire some SUI. Okay. Job is to get back above the red line should we rally. If it stays here when we rally, then SUI is kind of done for now and expected to go and visit previous lower ranges. But until then, you have to stick with the trend. Cardano, let's quickly have a look at Cardano. Simply put, this was our TP range. I'm waiting for it to move back down. I'm waiting for hidden bullish divergence. It's not a buy. It's a buy when it gets there. And that RSI is lower than this. Simple as that. Okay. Guys, let's quickly see. 150 people in live at this moment. Damn it. This is growing. Okay. Thanks so much for joining in, guys. I really appreciate this. I want to see you guys. Please head over to the Discord. I want to really use this opportunity to create a December. We're going to fill the Discord with all the members. I've added additional days because there's not going to be a lot of service delivery within the Discord. Now we're reaching over to the end. We TP ranges. Okay. Let the market play it out. But in the new year, there's going to be a lot of juice and a lot of alpha being dropped over there. Become a member, be part of the system, and then we can be safe because ultimately scammers won't come and drop the $1 a day to come scam you. Thanks to each and every one of you guys for joining in and spending time with me. It's so fun having these times with you guys. Especially when we're getting to a point where there's going to be some real big shakeouts in the market. It's always fun navigating these tricky times with you. Head over to Discord, guys. Make sure to unlock this. It's all empty. We're going to populate it together, and it's going to be fun. Thanks so much for joining in. You have a lovely day. See you tomorrow, same time. And be ready because we're going to be handing out some nice gifts. You have a lovely day. And as always, keep hustling, my friends.